Hi, Marek Pawłowski here from MEX, the strategy forum for mobile user experience. I've been taking a look at Nokia's N900 device over the last month or so, and I wanted to give you a quick tour from a user experience perspective of the kind of things that a customer might encounter when they first looked at this device. So let's start off with the device exactly as it would look when it came out of the box, with the battery cover off here, battery already installed, the SIM card would go here, and just talk you through some of the things which a customer might experience and how that's going to reflect on the overall story which the user has with this device. So first of all, the battery cover itself. Now this has a really flimsy, thin kind of feel to it, quite a cheap plastic which has been used here. And when you come to install the battery cover for the first time, it does not feel particularly reassuring. Given that this is a flagship device from Nokia, very much at the high end of their range, you'd expect there to be a nicer feeling to the materials when you first start off with a device like that. If we flip the device over here, so we've got the main screen showing, there is an improvement. So around the edge here we have this metal bezel which runs all the way around the screen. It's raised slightly above the surface of the screen itself, which helps to keep it free from scratches. And it's one of the first things which other people I've shown this to have noticed. It does have a quality, solid, premium feel to it, so a big improvement on the battery cover from the rear of the device. Also, we have here the Nokia logo, which has been nicely and deeply embossed in that metal bezel, again reinforcing that feeling of quality and of good material use there on the device. So if we turn the device back over again, we can see here the camera on the back. Now this has got the lens shutter here, which we can open up, dual LED flash, 5 megapixel camera, but that never really tells the whole story, I think. Clearly the camera is one of the most important features on modern smartphones these days, but you really only get to fully understand the quality of the camera once you've spent a bit of time using it in day-to-day situations. I've been doing that over the last month, and I can confirm that it does take very good quality photos in most lighting conditions, good quality video as well. One of the other nice features that we have here surrounding the camera is this little kickstand which flips out and props the device up at a convenient angle so that it's easy to view video content, do a bit of web browsing, that sort of stuff when you have the device in a relatively stationary environment. If we have a look at the screen again here, this is a 480 by 800 pixel display. It's got very good pixel density right across the screen. Things like photos, video, when you have that kickstand flipped out and you want to watch some films on the move, really do have a fantastic quality through that screen. One small caveat with that, though, is that in real life situations the customer experience is somewhat compromised when you're web browsing, because the pixels are so dense on the screen and that resolution is so high. Text is actually very small and difficult to read. So what Nokia have done is they've included these zooming controls, the plus and minus buttons along the top here, which also work to do the volume while you're on calls, which allow you to zoom in and out of the web pages. You can also do a double tap on the screen as well to zoom into specific areas. That said, though, the web browsing is a little bit undermined by the fact that the text is so small that you do need to zoom in and out, and it's not a particularly convenient thing to do. Let's talk a little bit about some of the more negative aspects of the user experience here. Going back to the kickstand, very nice feature to include, love the design concept. Implementation, however, not particularly good. This is quite a flimsy piece of plastic that we have at the back here, and the feeling of it when you flip that out is just not tremendously reassuring. It's the sort of thing that is not going to last particularly long under any sort of heavy usage, and it would be a really quick and easy and inexpensive thing for Nokia to improve in future versions of the device, and I very much hope that we will see them doing that. On the whole then, the N900, a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to user experience. There are some nice parts of the build quality. So if we open this to reveal the keyboard, it's a very reassuring clunk sound as it does that. And again, on the close, just has that kind of solidity to it, which you'd expect to see running throughout the device. The keyboard itself, again, nice material usage and a solid feel to it, some nice travel in the keys, no issues at all with the build quality there. That said, having come from the Nokia E71, where the keyboard is much more compact on the device as opposed to the way it's kind of spread right across the full width of the device here, and I suspect this will be true of many BlackBerry users who are used to that kind of format as well, I found this quite difficult to get used to. I persevered with it for a month or so, but the distance between the left and right sides of the keyboard just doesn't really make sense in the mobile environment, and it's quite a stretch to be doing that. You've got some unusual positioning here as well, with the spacebar being offset from the center of the keyboard. The function keys over here, if you need to use them, say a shift key in combination with a capital A, it's again a stretch for the hand to get over there, and it's just one of those little user experience quirks, which means that text entry on this device, answering emails, that sort of thing, is not particularly intuitive. So a bit of a disappointment there with the way that the keyboard has been implemented on a device which really is designed to be inputting large volumes of text and being more of a data creation kind of a device than a data consumption kind of device. This is something which is touched on in more detail in the review which accompanies this video. The one-handed operation of the device is not great at all. You can see that it has been designed clearly with an interaction flow using two hands very much first and foremost in the designer's minds. If you need to use one hand on this to unlock the device, which you would do using this little unlock key on the side, we flick that, and then if we need to then get that over so that we can start accessing things on the screen, it's just quite difficult to do, quite counterintuitive to do with a single hand. And we can see here from the inclusion of this 90s throwback plastic stylus which accompanies the N900 that it has been very much geared towards two-handed operation and is something which is not ideal in a purely mobile environment. I think it's something which is probably designed to be used more in those stationary moments that you find during the course of a mobile day rather than truly on the move itself. So that's a quick tour of the user experience features that I've discovered on the N900. Much more detail in the written review which accompanies this, and I'll be looking forward to seeing how the range develops from Nokia over the next few months, and new iterations of both the software and the hardware which we're expecting to see from them later in the year.